Honorable Justice Jawad Hassan for his talk on the importance of ADR for CPEC's legal framework. It is my honor to introduce Honorable Justice Jawad Hassan, a distinguished judge of the Lahore High Court. Honorable Justice Hassan has been a trailblazer in judicial reforms, having established Pakistan's first ever commercial courts to expedite business and investment-related disputes. He is also widely recognized for his pioneering work in climate justice, advocating sustainable environmental policies through landmark judgments. As a member of the ADR Committee of the Lahore High Court, he has played an instrumental role in promoting alternate dispute resolution mechanisms to enhance access to justice. I would now like to request Honorable Justice Jawad to kindly take the stage and share his insights with us. Thank you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. His Excellency Jawhar Salim, Mr. Skandar Shah, Khalid Amur Saab, I think Rifat is sitting here. Just want to say some good news about the ADR. But before I give you some good news, what happened in the last 1 year, which is now nearing the completion of the third term of the CPEC. I must say, congratulate LUMS for doing this, because you're speaking about legislative reforms, legal reforms, investment protection, and dispute resolution. And the most importantly, before I talked about the ADR and some good news, I need to give you the overview of 5 Fs in Pakistan on CPEC. First F is the international law, private international law framework for CPEC. As CPEC strengthens Pakistan's upgrading Pakistan infrastructure and also strengthening Pakistan economy with the China's cooperation. Most importantly, the international framework is the forum non-convenience. The concept of private international law is where the cause of action arises, that courts will have jurisdiction. Pakistan has 5 provinces, Pakistan has district courts, Pakistan has high courts, and the courts in Pakistan are now very much aware of the commercial issues. Is something happening to a transport within Pakistan, to a provinces in Pakistan, to a factory, to any of the Chinese investments in Pakistan, how the courts will look into. Pakistani courts will get the jurisdiction under the basic settled principle of public international law, forum non-convenience. The convenience of parties have to be seen where the cause of action arose. That's the concept of the public-private international law. And for saying that, this is something not new for us. We've been speaking at the Chinese business law course at LUMS, which Skandar started 4 years ago. We spoke about the Oxford University China Center on the issue of Pakistan CPEC. Though we had the third term, which is ending now next year, we need to speed up the issue and tell the whole world that Pakistan is safe to invest in Pakistan. The courts are geared up. Courts have been buckled up because of the issue of the best committee, Rifat is sitting here, by the Supreme Court of Pakistan, the ADR committee. I'm a member of the task force led by Justice Shah and Justice Asha Malik and Justice Shaikh, and with the support of Justice Yahya Afridi, we have been able to achieve some targets. That is, the first is I will talk about is the constitutional framework of CPEC. Pakistan Constitution itself, under articles of the Constitution and 4th Schedule, Clause 3, mentions in the Federal List Part 1 that Pakistan will also have implement the treaties and the agreements as per the law. And CPEC being an agreement between 2 states, that's under the Constitution. Article 97 of the Constitution, read with Article 99, there is the Federal Rules of Business, 1973, under which the Federation, the rules of business is the Ministry of Planning, Development, a special initiative, which under the Schedule 2 of the rules of business is the administrative body of the CPEC authority, established in 1919 and then 2021. This shows a framework of Pakistani courts by constitution, acknowledging, recognizing the support of CPEC under the constitutional framework of Pakistan, amended 21st of October, that there is still a CPEC mentioned in the Constitution of Pakistan as the rules of business, which is also called a flow of the Constitution. Part second is the institutional framework, and also which is very important, that CPEC authority, which established under 2019 Act, but now because of the very good comprehensive law, CPEC Authority Act 2021, which preamble makes it to establish the authority, and Section 3 makes it the authority will give its recommendation to the Prime Minister through the concerned division, which is the planning division. And most importantly, for everyone to know that Section 4 of the CPEC Authority Act, the institutional framework of CPEC, the basic body of CPEC, the word used therein, it has powers and functions both under one section. And Section 4 itself very clearly mentions the enforcing, monitoring, evaluating, smooth implementations of all the agreements happened under the CPEC between two states. That is something very important. And there are certain sections which I don't have time to go through because this is the first time they're doing this. This needs a whole day of workshop on, say, talking about the institutional framework of CPEC and how effective it is. Then second and the third part would be the legal framework, which Pakistan is a country opened its door of SIFC. Pakistan welcomes the foreign investor to protect. Pakistani courts have played a very important role by giving certain judgments to protect foreign investment in Pakistan, to strengthen their confidence in Pakistan, and which I will to talk about the role of the ADR committee. It all happened when next year we will be celebrating the CPEC's 10th anniversary. But while we doing that, we must acknowledge the efforts of the Supreme Court in making out the ADR committee, which is for any foreign investor or for Chinese to look at the legal anthropology of Pakistani law, look at the judicial anthology or the jurisprudence developed by Pakistani courts to protect the foreign investor, including the China and our partners in that. And the first wood is the foreign investment, the foreign arbitration. Mostly CPEC contracts, they have clauses which could be in China's, has opened up to the Western arbitration, beyond the CTAC, the Singapore International Arbitrations, also the ICC. We have the Pakistan has recently given a judgment by Justice Mansoor Shah, which is the Taisi case, 2024 SCMR 640, recognizing the effects of the foreign award, a pro-enforcement bias. The Pakistan Supreme Court says if you obtain an award from a foreign court, it will be enforced by courts being biased to enforce it. They have to enforce that award. That leads to the judgments given by us, the Lahore High Court. Even the recently Islamabad High Court given a judgment of China in International Water Energy Company 24-3 CLD 1400 page, recognizing the Chinese award to be enforced in Pakistan against a Pakistani company. That is because they need to have the award clauses. Second part would be the local arbitration. We established commercial courts in 2020 with the World Bank, only with the vision that since the CPEC contracts will be happening in Pakistan for obtaining industry, as you know, the last second phase of CPEC has the Faisalabad industrial state, Islamabad industrial state. A lot of issues are coming to Punjab, which I am a judge of. We have various cases coming to the courts regarding these investment issues. Some have the arbitration clauses, some have the local arbitration clauses, and some don't have clauses at all for dispute resolution. And to effectively resolve the dispute, the mechanism adopted by the Pakistani courts, which I want to proudly say, is that the establishment of the commercial courts. When commercial courts established, we gave the judgment of Pizza Hut 2021 CLD 931, recognizing the Pakistani role protection of the foreign investment in Pakistan, which was then recently upheld again by the Lahore High Court in the case of China Harbour Engineering 20 PLD 24, Lahore page 421, by recognizing that there are commercial courts in 5 cities in Lahore, Punjab, Lahore, Faisalabad, Gujranwala, Sialkot, and Multan. Wherever these disputes are arising, And by keeping Faisalabad is because of the Chinese investment is in the Faisalabad state. But keeping Lahore because of Islamabad industrial state. Keeping all these cities where there are these special economic zones as a part of CPEC long-term, mid-term phases. So that is how there are cases coming to courts. The cases given the judgments within time frame as to show that the Pakistani courts have now been recognized as SET, speedy, effective, trusted dispute courts. In the judgments which I refer in my third part is the mediation. Sometimes you don't have time to go for arbitration. Sometimes you don't have the arbitration clause. Sometimes you don't have the dispute and you need to quickly resolve the issue. That was the most importantly, the last year we spent 2024, this year it's ending now in 2 days. The entire year was Pakistan's mediation movement. Started from the Rawalpindi bench, the case of Faisal Zafar, to 2024 CLD page 1, where the concept of mandatory mediation came to Pakistan like the English courts, that when parties have an issue, rather than wasting time for arbitration, rather than going for more, there is mediation can be done in 2 hours, 2 days, or 2 weeks. Parties are happy, and economy is, and then the issue would be that approach taken by the Lahore High Court, followed, relied by the Sindh High Court, followed, relied by Islamabad High Court, followed, relied by Peshawar High Court. Supreme Court then finally, recently, Justice Masood Shah, in the judgment of the Mughal Steel, has recognized the efforts of all the high courts in adopting the approach of mandatory mediation. And as the good news would be that first time when I gave the judgment of Strategic Planning Division of recognizing the mandatory mediation, they amended the law. And now in the income tax ordinance, section 134 proviso clearly states that state-owned enterprises can now opt for mandatory mediation rather than an appeal. That opens the door for a foreign investor to have a confidence in Pakistan that there are courts taking the mandatory approach of mediation, not a voluntary approach. The court is the court annexed. Court can direct the parties. Court can then support the mediation as a manager, by intervening in it to save time of parties and to save the projects happening in Pakistan, to strengthen the confidence. And mediation now is all over the world. And another good news to share with you all is that Pakistan has recently signed the Singapore Convention on Mediation. All what I've been saying to conclude is that everything happened in this year, which is ending now. We had the Singapore signing treaty, we had the mediation united, stood together, followed each other. Every province, every judge following the approach, the new inventions we created in Pakistan, because the concept of that they have to mediate within time, and a success model is everything has been mediated. That's the good news to share. And last and not least is what is the future? The future would be that now we are all sitting. We should now think about that we have very few words to use today, that whether we have a legal reforms, yes, we have done the reforms, whether Pakistan has the laws on investment protection. If you look at the title of the conference today, it all, as I can say, is I put the word tick to yes. Pakistan has legislative reforms. We had the new Arbitration Act. A bill has been given to the Parliament, the Arbitration Act of 2024-5, because Pakistan is the last country tagging away the British Arbitration Act of 1940. The new law has the parties' autonomy. The new law has the new less intervention by the courts. The new law was launched in May this year by Justice Shah at the Academy and given it to the law minister. And the good news is Pakistan looks good in the world, and we celebrate this. And also to conclude this year, next year goal would be how we take it further. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Justice Jawad Hassan, for your quite insightful speech. Starting off with our roundtables, ideally on time, we're still following the schedule, so I'm very happy about that. In front of you, you all also have your agendas as well, and you also have a set of questions that the roundtables will be following. I will introduce you all to the theme areas that we have today and which theme is being chaired by who. The first theme, addressing legislative and bureaucratic challenges in CPEC implementation. This is being chaired by Mr. Shahid Mahmood Khokhar. He's the chairman of the Implementation Tribunal for Newspaper Employees. This theme table is being joined by Mr. Shahzeb Usman, who's a lecturer at the NUST Law School and also a graduate of LLB from LUMS. This is also joined by Barrister Minal Tariq, who's a advocate of the High Court and a legal consultant. And as I share everyone's names, I would request them to please join their respective tables so that we can have fruitful and beneficial discussions. The next on this table one is Advocate Wajid Hassan Pasha, who's the advocate of the Supreme Court. We have Mr. Irshad Fezan, a corporate lawyer at Zaul Law LLP. We have Advocate Raja Nawaz, advocate of the Supreme Court and a specialist in corporate law, banking and finance. Again, this is table one. We then have Advocate Raja Faisal Yunus Abbasi, Advocate Malik Qatada Jamal Khan, a senior partner at JAC and Company, and Mr. Shakil Ahmed Rame would join us on the same table, who's the CEO of the Asian Institute of Eco-Civilization Research and Development. We also have Mr. Muhammad Zamir Asadi, researcher on diplomacy and a media fellow of the China South Asia and Southeast Asia Press Center. And finally, Dr. Munawwar, associate professor at the Quaid-e-Azam University. All of these will be joining the theme one, chaired by Mr. Shahid Mahmood Khokhar. The theme two, the table two, the theme for this table is developing a strategic and adaptive policy framework for CPEC. This is being chaired by Mr. Khalid Taimur Akram, Executive Director, Pakistan Research Center for a Community with Shared Future. Dr. Tahir Mumtaz Awan, faculty at the Comsat University and ex-director of the China Study Center. Mr. Asim Khan Niazi, Head of Development Communications and at the Federal Ministry of Planning and Special Initiatives. We have Brigadier Shozab Majid, international law expert and the founder of Research and Policy Development Initiative, and also the co-founder for Global Peace Summit. As I go over the guests, I hope that everybody is going to their respective tables, if not there already. We also have Mr. Ahmad Qadir, Director General Competition Commission of Pakistan at this table. We have Mr. Anik Salman, a senior associate at CLM at this table. Mr. Muhammad Ahmad, advocate of the High Court, is also seated here. Ms. Shaista Altaf, Senior Vice President at the High Court Bar Association. Ms. Aisha Ajmal, lecturer at Department of Strategic Studies, Air University. And finally, Dr. Khurram Abbas, director at the India Studies Center and editor at the Institute of Strategic Studies, Islamabad. So here I conclude the panelists for the roundtable focusing on theme area 2. Moving on to the theme area 3, which is strengthening dispute resolution and strategic risk management. The first table for this area setup is being chaired by Ms. Rifat Inam Bhatt, who's the Secretary, Law and Justice Commission of Pakistan. This table is being joined by Mr. Rana Sajjad, founder and President, Center for International Investment and Commercial Arbitration, CICA, an advocate of the Supreme Court and a member of the New York Bar and arbitrator at Hanzu Arbitration Commission. This is also joined by Barrister Mia Shiraz Javed, Chair of the Chartered Institutes of Arbitrators, Pakistan, and Chair of Pakistan International Disputes Weekend, and the CEO of MK Consultus. Sorry about that. This table is also joined by Mr. Shazar Ilahi, who is the mediation expert and a co-founder of Musaleha International Center for Arbitration and Dispute Resolution. This table is also joined by Ms. Sara Tarar, Dean of International Center for Law and Society, a consultant mediator at the World Bank, and resident representative of Pakistan ADR ODR setup. Mr. Khurram Shehzad Mughal, official at the Ministry of Law and Justice, is also at this table. Mr. Muhammad Saqib Mangrio, Assistant Director at SARC Arbitration Council. Mr. Moiz Farooq, Executive Editor, Daily Ittihad Media Group and Pakistan Economic Net. The second table for dispute resolution and strategic risk management is being chaired by Mr. Aziz Qazi, advocate at the Supreme Court and vice chairman at the Islamabad Bar Council. His table is being joined by Mr. Mia Samiuddin, partner at Bandari Naqvi Riaz, and an arbitration specialist, Ms. Siba Farooq, who's the founder at SNS Law Associates and an expert mediator, Barrister Nudrat Majid, partner at 4 Road Gold Chambers and a specialist in commercial law, arbitration and mediation, Barrister Talha Ilyas Shaikh, who is a member of the Chartered Institute of Arbitrators and a managing partner at Shaikh Law Associates, Barrister Zopash Khan, co-chair Society of Mediators, Advocate Sheikh Muhammad Ali, Advocate Supreme Court, and a founder at Rasikh Consortium and Merkaz ADR. He's also the chairman of the Lahore High Court Bar ADR Committee. And finally, everyone, the theme area 4. I hope I have everybody's ears here. Finally, the theme area 4, which is table 5. This is being chaired by Mr. Muzaffar Ahmad Mirza, who is the Chief Prosecutor and Head of Legal Affairs at the Security and Exchange Commission of Pakistan. His theme area is enhancing investment protection and promoting economic stability in CPEC. This table is being joined by Mr. Samir Afzal, journalist specializing in global and international economic affairs, Dr. Hassan Dawood Butt, expert in international trade and investment, and a Belt and Road Initiative, who is also the ex-CEO of the Board of Investment at KPK. Mr. Usman W. Chauhan, advisor at the Center for Aerospace and Security Studies, Advocate Fariha Tahir Hassan, who is the Advocate High Court and a member of the Islamabad Bar Council and also a specialist in commercial and investment laws. Advocate Zaildar Ehsan Shah is also at this table, who's a specialist in corporate and commercial law. Mr. Wasif Majid, principal partner at the Wasif Majid & Co. and partner in dispute resolution, Lexium Attorneys, creditor mediator, Center for Effective Dispute Resolution UK. Is also at this table Mr. Umar Wardak, Supreme Court lawyer and specialist in dispute resolution and investment arbitration. Dr. Umar Hayat, Associate Professor at Bahria University. Dr. Sohail, Associate Professor at ComSats. Mr. Kaisar Nawab, President, Belt and Road Initiative for Sustainable Development. Ms. Sadia Sattar, ISPR Radio. Mr. Javed Iqbal from Radio Pakistan. Thank you so much. I hope everyone is on their respective tables. In case someone still has any questions, please meet my team. They will guide you to your relevant table. I hope that everyone has an insightful discussion, and I will meet you again at 1 p.m. when we will have Justice Mansoor Ali Shah giving his keynote address. Thank you.